What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp. It's Fightful. It's May 30th. We're here to talk WWE Raw. We got a little MJF news as well. But we've got Kate here today. Denise, unprofessionally and summarily, walked out. She put her briefcase on the desk, or maybe she just lost her voice. And I called upon Kate. Kate, how you doing?
I'm good, other than being very disappointed in Denise Salcedo. But other than that, work. I'm doing well. How are you, Sean? I'm gonna assume tired.
I am very tired. I've not slept much this weekend. I want to thank all of you who subscribed to Fightful Select. We broke our record, and I'll go into a little bit more detail on that story shortly. We broke some MJF news tonight. We broke a bunch of MJF news this week, and we'll talk about that. You can get in super chats, get in humper chats. I want to pass a message to our oh, never mind. He sent it to me. Drew sent me the document. We got him filling in, and I've got to request access for that. So, Drew, please provide me access to this document where our super chats and our humper chats are housed. Get in your super chats here on youtube.com/Fightful. This past week, we had a 2+ hour AEW Double or Nothing review. I went live at 1 a.m. We were doing it at I think 2 to 2:30 a.m. as well. Live stream on the MJF situation, and we will talk about that momentarily. But it was our most watched live wrestling show we've ever done at 2 a.m. I want to thank you guys so much for all that. Grapsody was live in Las Vegas at Blue Wire Studios. They did incredible work. This is our third year of having Phil do incredible Double or Nothing work with us. I want to thank them. Big shout out to Righteous Reg for having his Paige Van Zant theme drop on Sunday night, and Will streaming the scrum for us. That's up as well. They had an interview with Powerhouse Hobbs on Friday. We had the Tony Khan media scrum. I dropped an interview with RJ City, with Hangman Page. We got so much, my friends. But leave a thumbs up on this video. We would greatly appreciate it. We got all kinds of stuff. We are here every night. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, Rampage, Dynamite, Impact Now, and NXT. Michael Key says, no, Denise, this sucks as much as Mark Madden. But yay, we get Kate instead. Let's do this. No comment. He's a clout vampire. But and also, I just want to say, a bitch. But
you go no comment, except he's a clout vampire.
No comment.
And a bitch.
No comment. Besides him being a clout vampire and a bitch. That's it. That's the only comment that I will issue on this, is that he's an irrelevant bitch. That's it. That's it.
If you were going to comment on it, you would say that he was an irrelevant bitch. Hypothetically.
Yeah.
If you were going to talk about it.
Probably.
That's what you would say.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Jeremy Lambert, who did a 6-hour live stream today on Twitch. Please show him some love. He did some incredible work today for a very good cause, and we always love to support that. He's one of the great ones. Pile Driver says Denise is at the end of the day versus Kate, so when all is said and done. I love it.
I'm a bit I keep seeing the traps that I fall into when I go to clip stuff from shows. I'm a big, first of all, gal. I've learned that about myself over the past couple weeks.
Yes. So on Fightful Select tonight, or today, I broke some news that MJF, according to sources, was set to meet with Tony Khan today. Now, if you followed our coverage, I'll make a couple things clear. It started out not as a work. A couple months ago, they had their disagreement, not a work. MJF remaining to be pissed, not a work. Him no showing a meet and greet, not a work. They had to scramble and have other people stay long. Those talent were not filled in about this. That is not something that Tony Khan would do. That is not something AEW would do. Some of those talent had to sort of make that up. A lot of people saying, oh, well, it's a work from MJF. Well, it's just a work from MJF. I guarantee you AEW and Tony Khan do not consider that a work. So, that's something that we're obviously cognizant of when reporting this. Saturday, we reported that a flight was booked for MJF from Las Vegas. Now, a flight gate or whatever, there have been reports, there was never one booked. Kate, before this, I did send you pretty irrefutable proof that one was booked, correct?
Yeah, it's the proofiest proof there ever was to be proved.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So, he didn't get on that plane. Don't know who booked it. Don't know if it was AEW. Don't know if it was MJF. I know some people said, well, maybe it was a fan. Well, no, it was before the meet and greet happened and people knew that he no-showed. But I don't think it's something that I was intended to find out. And by that, I mean it's somebody who has provided me dozens of tips in the past, mainly WWE stuff, but they are not connected to a company. They're not connected to MJF. This wasn't something that MJF leaked to me. I asked MJF about it numerous times and got no response. I did get a response last night in regards to when he showed up and when he left. I later verified that with some people at AEW. Now, him showing up, doing that job, leaving on a stretcher, still being in Vegas today and meeting with Tony Khan, this is where me personally, this is where my tinfoil hat goes on. My flags go up and I go, okay, and this is not a report, but this is me going, I think they'll probably have something worked out, or they probably did work something out, etc. Now, there's also plenty to what happened yesterday. They pulled the promo video from Twitter. They pulled it from YouTube. And then around the time that he would have been at the venue, it went back up. Or around the time they would have found out he was heading to the venue, it went back up. Elaborate work, who knows? But those are the facts as they stand. If you see anybody saying, oh, well, Sean got fed that flight info by MJF or AEW, not true. Didn't happen. You see anybody say, well, Sean said he wasn't going to be at AEW Double or Nothing. Not true. In fact, I said on the stream that night, I said, I'd be surprised if, since he didn't get on the plane, he wasn't at Double or Nothing. But that's what I know now. And I am of the belief that if Tony Khan is willing to pay him top guy money in AEW, I mean, the feeling that I got was that MJF was kind of just over it. But I think if you kind of look at the way that things are, okay, Cody's working all the time. All the time. He's wrestled more matches since he's been back in WWE than he did in the 10 months prior.
Yeah.
If MJF can make comparable money in AEW, I don't know. Will that affect heat and all that? Who knows? I mean, he's got heat with plenty of people in AEW. I can tell you everybody in AEW is like, oh, we're operating on the assumption it's a work, even though we're told it's not a work. So, they've all got their guards up, obviously, but that's what we know about MJF. Get in your super chats, get in your humper chats. If you want me to answer anything about that, I absolutely will. But
can you I can't send in a super chat right now or a humper chat, but
hold on. Somebody says walking back now. Walking back what? What are you saying? Walking back what? I had somebody else say this, like, oh, you're backpedaling. I'm like, no. Do you all not know how this stuff works? This stuff can, this stuff evolves.
People don't know how it works. That's actually the problem. Something can turn into a work really fast and not have started as one. Some of the best wrestling storylines of all time have been that way. So it's not backpedaling, it's things evolving.
Yes. They absolutely, as Jake Salazar said, SRS, this is not a report. Dumbasses on Twitter. SRS reports it's all a work and deal was made. I don't know anything about a deal being made. Michael Keys says this message is a work. Oh, man.
I knew it.
Brian said, Sean literally laid out everything he knew in a timeline. I did. On the backstage report, I went through a timeline of how I found out this stuff. Them arguing 2 months ago was absolutely not a work. Tony was very pleasant when I asked him about it, too. He's like, well, what he was upset about and what I was upset about were two different things. MJF is upset about the contract. Tony was like, hey, I'd just rather you not interview with like people unless you tell PR about it, because we don't want to find out you're doing an interview with one of the biggest media names in the world when it gets published. So again, if you guys have any questions, send them in. Michael Keys says he's singing the Rihanna song.
Work.
Yeah.
Well done.
Jake says your favorite Salazar here. Any update on why Jeff and Adam were removed from the 10-man tag? I would say it was probably because of Jeff's performance on Sunday is what I would speculate. I haven't had that confirmed.
Sounds like a work.
Rabbit Duck says, is there no legal recourse that AEW would have if a contracted performer no shows a pay-per-view? They could freeze him. They could probably freeze his deal, or they could just bench him.
Maxwell Jacob freeze him.
Oh, God damn it. God damn it.
I did a post show till 4 a.m. and I still got it. If you consider that terrible pun having.
Yeah, you all were up all damn night. 3 hours you all went.
You joined.
Sometimes I'll just pop in and just rant during that show too, which I
love it when you share story time with us.
Yeah. So guys, we're going to talk WWE Raw, obviously. We got WWE Hell in a Cell this Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. And
NXT in your house on Saturday.
There you go. Somebody says, did my super chat get skipped? No, we answer them as they pop up during the show for particular segments. So if yours is about Cody Rhodes, we answer it during then. Ali C says, Sean's story time about casting kidney stones. Bill Mitchell says, I thought it was a work after the scrum. See, to me, I looked at it and I was like, oh, is this elaborate, or does he really not want to answer it like that? And that's what I like. Like, even though,
I would say when CM Punk dropped his name and Tony Khan's face went like this, that's probably a good sign that it was not a work.
Yeah. Pile Driver Finisher says, well, we already read that one. Michael Keys, we read that one. We need those deleted, just so you know, to our moderator after they've been read. Jake Salazar says, shifting gears here. Denise let us all down.
Nailed it.
And feels like the right place for this. Says 70 people acknowledged me and Denise saying hi to you on Twitter. Acknowledge me, Ding Lord. I think you mean Dong Lord. Well, you're acknowledged. You're acknowledged. KE775 says, have you heard that Zelina is injured like PW Insider reported? I've not, but PW Insider is very reputable. So there you go. Chris says, the first things first, hypothetically, if it's a work at the end of the day, when all's said and done, the Lawnmower 4000 is a choice at heart. Braun Wagner says, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Lacey meant to have a match tonight? She sure was, but she was meant to have a lot of things. And guess what? It never seems to happen the way that it was supposed to. No Lacey Evans this week, Kate. How you feeling?
That is a little odd that there was no Lacey Evans on Memorial Day, especially. I thought for sure they would have brought her out for that.
They showed her at like a race or something like that.
Yeah, at some race event.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that. I don't think they have any idea what's going on with her, since she was on SmackDown and then Raw and was a heel and a face all in the same 2 weeks, I feel like. But yeah.
We have somebody in the chat say, so Sean, if you had to, this is on our Facebook chat, say, Sean, if you had to guess one way or another, is it a work or is it a shoot, meaning the MJF thing? If I had to say, and again, this is not a report, if I had to go based on a hunch, I would say right now it's a shoot that they are about to turn into a work. That's what I would. That's what I would.
Reported here first.
Yeah, that's my hunch. Do I know that? No, I don't. Will I try to find it? Yes, I will. Nerd Guru says the chat is for Kate thirsting over Zombie Punisher, Arsonist Killer Eddie Kingston on the post show last night. Not only that, think about how much money he had to spend on that can of gas.
I know that was $1,000 worth of gasoline.
High dollar.
My
Jake.
goodness.
We've got Nerd Guru saying, is there a reason why Hell in a Cell is all Raw matches? Not that I mind, but we continually see that Raw is the better show. But I'd bet any money that Moss Corbin is on Hell in a Cell instead of the Women's Triple Threat. Honestly, I completely forgot what all was on that card. Right now, it's 6 matches. And no, I have no idea why it's all Raw matches right now. And it does not look like a great card right now. You've got a U.S. title match, a Raw title match, and then, all right, you got the Hell in a Cell. But like they minimize the stakes. We're just going to make our predictions tonight. I'm not doing a full prediction show on this. No way. But Simon Renshaw says, taking a wrestling break tonight, but thanks for the coverage. Buddy, I'm there with you tomorrow. But we're 16 minutes into this show. Let's talk about the opener. Becky Lynch comes out and cuts a promo. She's so good. She's just so good at everything. She makes everything entertaining and fun. And I love her reactions to Asuka. Like Asuka, like screaming in a language that I can't understand, obviously, is enhanced by Becky's facial reactions. How'd you feel about this opening promo and Bianca getting involved?
I really liked it. I think Becky really has settled into like who she is as a heel over the past couple of months. She always seems to, I don't want to say like working with Asuka better, but she certainly likes working with Asuka. Like they have in-ring chemistry. I think she has a lot of respect for who she is. I think this is one of the better told stories because there was a story obviously with Bianca and Becky that they ran back, and there was a pre-existing story with Becky and Asuka. And that just makes everything flow a little bit easier. I thought this was super fun. I think Asuka isn't getting necessarily enough credit for how she just walked right back in here after a very lengthy time off and has just been assimilated right back into the environment and is one of my favorite things on Raw right now.
They spent the first half hour plus on this angle, which is good. It needs built. I don't know if I like the idea of Asuka losing to both competitors back-to-back weeks. Like, I don't even think you had to have this match. Did I enjoy it? Yes. But from a booking perspective, did we need it? No. I would have been fine with all 3 of them winning singles matches on this show and building up to it. Maybe them trying to cost each other those matches. If you're going to do screwy finishes, I mean, my gosh, let's just do that. But I thought the match was exceptional. Asuka is so good. Bianca is so good. And Becky adds an awful lot to this every time she's on commentary.
I agree. I feel like it's weird that not the champion had the advantage here. Like that going into this, the champion was fighting, but she's a face and a fighting champion, so I'll take it. But it was nice to kind of have this appetizer going into the triple threat of seeing how they work. And I felt like Bianca and Asuka worked really, really well together. Asuka has no ring rust coming back off this injury. Her knees are like as vicious as ever. Fantastic, fantastic match. And Becky does add a lot. They mentioned it in the chat too. I had in my notes about Becky saying that she was a wizard. That popped me tremendously. I thought that was fun. But yeah, I think this was a really strong match, and I think the triple threat might be the strongest match on the show at the end of the day. But yeah, I think Asuka's going to lose, and I don't necessarily love that.
What else do we have here? We've got, we didn't get any super chats about that. I'm very surprised. But Michael Key says, Sean confirmed something as a work or a shoot. And Mike Straw's here. He says, sick 1-year-old, long night. Take my money. Hey, what's that over there? Says, so MJF is about to turn into Brian Pillman Sr. I mean, that type of thing is something that I've suspected. Sure. I mean, that when people say, oh, well, don't you think you're getting worked? I don't know why you don't think that that's like the first thing on my mind. I always go into everything assuming it's a work.
Particularly with MJF.
Of course.
Yeah.
I don't care how well I know him. I don't care how many times I've talked to him. You always assume that the worker is working before anything else, especially a person in my position. Orion Ben says, hypothetical, a bloody Eddie Kingston is approaching you carrying a gas can. What do? He needs to be in a horror movie. Good luck, Sean and Kate. Go New York Rangers. What do?
Propose. I propose.
I yell at everybody that Eddie Kingston's selling gas for $2 a gallon and watch them just maul him is what I do. Like done. It's done.
Oh, Sean, you and your psychological tactics.
Got that economy humor going right now.
Nailed it.
Mysterios and Ezekiel defeat Alpha Academy and Owens. I love Ezekiel using the spinning suplex as a finish and with the delay. I don't know if it okay, so I don't know if I like it as a finish. I do like it as a transitional move. I wish he would have a better finish because it's a lot different than the one that Dustin Rhodes uses, where it's the spin and it's like really. Speaking of, that's the toughest bump I ever took in wrestling on a very hard ring, on a boxing ring that we were training in. I took that from somebody. They're like, "Hey, I want to try this move." And I took it. And, like sometimes you'll bounce a little bit. I went up and around and I just stuck to the mat. And it was so painful. So painful. The velocity was great. And I didn't see that velocity here, but I like him using the move. Rey Mysterio is so fast. How the hell is he this fast? I thought he was going to have to retire 8 years ago. I thought he was done. And here he is at 47. I got to get stem cells everywhere. Listen, I'm going to get stem cells in my ass and I'm going to be doing the rear view like Naomi. I'm going to be doing everything once I get these stem cells. Send us super chats. Send us humper chats. I want stem cells. What'd you think of this match?
I think everybody should send in super chats about where Sean should put stem cells.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought the match was good. I don't feel like it necessarily makes a ton of sense, but gosh, anything Kevin Owens is involved in, I just can't help myself. Like in the same way that I feel like Sami Zayn was the only person that could have done the Jackass match, I feel like Kevin Owens is the only person that can make this Ezekiel angle work. I loved it. The match was good. Rey Mysterio just is this weird ageless wonder. I'm with you. Like, I don't understand how he moves so quickly still. It just feels like I'm still watching Rey Mysterio from 15 years ago. Kind of boggles my mind.
I know how people can move quickly around the internet.
How's that?
With NordVPN.com/Fightful, the fastest VPN in the world. I heard some of you say, I couldn't access this certain service last night with a VPN. Change your location to Lithuania. That's what you can do with NordVPN.com/Fightful. You can change your virtual location with just one click and save a lot of money on pay-per-views and other services that are overseas. If you're traveling abroad, you can stay tuned with your favorite shows over here, all that good stuff. And not only that, it's got a great deal, plus an additional month for free and a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's a good time at NordVPN.com/Fightful. And they got that threat protection. Block online trackers, hackers, and malware with NordVPN.com/Fightful. And it works on all your devices. Phone, tablet, laptop, PC, desktop, router, all of it with NordVPN.com/Fightful. Quite honestly, I use this as much as any other sponsor that we have. I love NordVPN.com/Fightful. I also loved Kevin Owens after this match. Him throwing the fit was great. I didn't get to talk about SmackDown, but I loved Sami Zayn on the Kevin Owens show, and Sami Zayn agreed with him. And then when they couldn't see eye to eye, he's like, no, they're actually not the same person. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. And I loved it.
Best segment of SmackDown by far. I do see Alex, who's going to be live on Fightful Select after this, doing the Sour Graps review, asking us to make fun of Dominic Smollett. We should. He deserves it.
Yeah, it looked like one of Los Gringos Locos in 1993, buddy. You did it. You're honoring Eddie. You got it. Oh, man.
Not the best.
Hey, what's that over there says that we love to see Dominic and Ray versus the Wizard Jericho and Marky Mark Daniel Garcia. I'd like to see Daniel Garcia suplex Dominic repeatedly. Joel says, speaking of Naomi, have you heard anything new on Sasha and Naomi as far as if they're going to return? No, but I did see Dave Meltzer's report last week that he believes that the suspension is unpaid. Now, this is just me spitballing. I'm not reporting, but I would believe if it's unpaid, they can't freeze that contract. So, I mean, it'd be hard for them to hold that up in court, freezing a deal and also not paying somebody. Jason PS3 says Asuka's booking so far has been eerily similar to her booking with Charlotte and Rhea, the triple threat match last year. I think you're right, Jason. It has been. She's been taking these losses, and it doesn't do her any favors. Kid named Brock says, update from last week's donation. My first week at work went well. If you're ever, for whatever reason, at Campton, Kentucky Dairy Queen, I got you. Let me see how far that is from me. Campton, Kentucky. That's not far at all. That's like an hour from me.
An hour for some Dairy Queen? I've done crazier things.
Yeah, I mean, I've never, ever been there. I've never been anywhere remotely near there. But, you know, I mean, this kid's straight out of Campton.
Well played.
Pretty proud of that one.
You should be.
Pretty happy about it.
That rivaled my Maxwell Jacob Friesman from before.
Call Me Crazy says, was doing some thinking on what they should do with Dominic. I think they should make him turn heel and have him cheat to win since he isn't the best wrestler yet. Have him pay homage to Eddie. I think that would work for him. I don't think they've ever considered having Dominic pay homage to Eddie. There's nothing that indicates to me that they would do something like that, you know. If maybe if they had him do the Three Amigos, or they had him come out there and do the frog splash, or they had him do the shimmy, or they had him wear gear like that, or they made any allusions to what was going on there.
I was wondering, because I don't think this has really been talked about before, but maybe you talked about it on Select or something. Who is his father, Dominic's?
We actually have a story that we ran on Fightful, and it just says, who is Dominic's father? And it just says it's Rey Mysterio. So
I know you do, because I clicked it being like, wait, it's Rey, right? And then it just said it's Rey Mysterio.
Do you think if you go straight out of Campton, you can get a crazy motherfucker named Ice Cream at their Dairy Queen?
I do think that, but I think you'd be better off asking our friend who works at Dairy Queen.
Glad you had a great week, Brock. It's always good to hear from you. Michael Key says, I just worked myself into a work. I need a breather. Oh, man. Arrow sends this one, says, get some stem. I appreciate you, buddy. And Jake says, I bet Eddie still walks away from the gas swarm with a win if I tell everybody he's selling it for $2 a gallon. Ryan Sullivan says, Drew Nicholas is awesome. Katie is the worst. You know what? I don't disagree.
Rude from both of my co-hosts. Rude.
I'll tell you what was rude. This Mustafa Ali thing. So I got real excited that Mustafa Ali was going to face Ciampa. I was like, hell yeah, let's go. And we get a short match. And so we're not told this, but okay, hold on. Let me reset here. We're told if Mustafa Ali wins, he gets a shot at the U.S. title. Well, to which I ask, why? Why was that? Because he's lost his last 3 matches. Now, the deck was stacked against him. 2 special ref matches, a handicap match. He beat The Miz before. But we should hear that, like, Vince McMahon set this up. Adam Pearce set this up. He didn't think this was fair. Also, why not if Ciampa gets a win?
That's my thing, is why didn't you just make it like an actual contendership match?
Yeah, because, I mean, if you're going to do this result, why not? And then you can give Ciampa, whatever the hell they're calling him now. They call him both on commentary. A reason to be upset in the future as well. Austin Theory ends this match. I mean, I was like, oh, cool, this match. And then I'm like, oh,
cool. The match is one rear naked chokehold for like 10 minutes, and then Theory interrupting. They also had Ciampa, and they went back to Mustafa. Guys, gotta get it right and just go in that direction, please.
Yep. And then we get Austin Theory versus Mustafa Ali. This was actually supposed to happen last week, and it got scrapped for time. And Austin Theory made this challenge, and Ali's not going to say no, which I love. He's a babyface. He's going to take this opportunity where he can get it. But Austin Theory wins. And I like that at least in Mustafa Ali losing these matches or not winning these matches, there's a reason. It was a handicap match, 2 special guest ref matches, a DQ, and he had been beaten up by Ciampa before this. However, at this point, I'm also conditioned to think that his matches are inconsequential. However, hopefully that changes this Sunday at Hell in a Cell. We're just going to make our predictions throughout the night. Adam Pearce made this match, said that Vince McMahon wanted it to happen. Who do you see winning it?
I think Theory retains.
Me too.
Which bums me out. I think it'll be a very good match. I think what was on Raw tonight was kind of lame. Like, I don't think this was the best way to get there, but at least Ali is like on my television on a regular basis. I just wish it wasn't in all of these ways that make him look bad and weak heading into a mid-card title match.
Sure.
But because he's looked so weak, I don't think there's a shot in heck that he's going over.
Also, the triple threat on Sunday. I didn't get your pick on that. Who you got winning that?
Bianca retains, I think.
I think so too. I think it's ready-made. We're set up for that. We're good to go. Ezekiel, Kevin Owens. I think Ezekiel wins this.
I think Ezekiel has to.
Yeah.
I think Elias wins.
We got Joel saying, I feel like I'm setting up myself up here. Had Ali mentioned walking out of his hometown with the win. He's been getting beaten up. Are they really setting him to take the title at Hell in a Cell? I don't think so. I think they're setting him up to lose and get the heat. Because, everybody on Monday when they're not in Chicago is going to give a shit about what happened there. I've never understood the perpetual burying people in their hometown. And maybe burying's a bit dramatic, but if somebody gets an insane reaction because they're home, people will remember that. People don't generally remember positive stuff about people getting beaten up in their hometown.
No, and I remember Ross Sapp of Fightful one time said this thing about, like, if it's heat that doesn't carry to the next town, that makes the least amount of sense, right? Like MJF winning in Chicago very much carried to the next town. Like, that makes total sense. Stuff like this will not make much sense.
Yeah, I mean, MJF's always going to be a babyface in Long Island. Punk's always going to be a heel there. Michael says, I heard that the match for the U.S. title will be a foot match. Hopefully, Ali works himself into a shoe. And Ryan says, I'm under the impression El Dandy is the true father of Dom. To quote Bret Hart, who are you to doubt El Dandy? I actually asked Bret about that in our interview a couple years back, and he was so happy to talk about El Dandy. It made me very happy. He said that he loves that promo and loves a lot of the work that he did. I think his WCW run is super underrated. Like, I know a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, they wasted him. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that wasn't coherent or cohesive or anything like that, but he did a lot of really interesting stuff, a lot of funny stuff, like the El Dandy promo and the plate. He won the U.S. title 4 times. He won the tag title. He was a 2-time world champion. And that was in 2 years. So I think that his run there was really underrated. Get in super chats about Bret Hart's WCW run being underrated. We'd greatly appreciate it. We got Alexa Bliss defeating Doudrop. I was just happy to see Doudrop wrestling again. We got Nikki ASH. Another note, Sonya was supposed to be out there with Nikki last week, and it didn't end up happening. Alexa gets the win. The match was fine enough for me. I love Doudrop's work. Love her using the Vader bomb. And when she misses it, it makes me think, damn, that hurts. Alexa's winning, and she's winning a lot. And her bit on Twitter has been very much like, oh, what do you think is planned for Raw? As if anything is. Like she is in on the gag now that I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Who knows what the hell I'm doing? But she is 3-0 since coming back to Raw, or 4-0 since coming back to Raw. That's never a mistake to me. They don't do that on accident.
Yeah, I'm a little confused as to why she's not going to be in this tag tournament thing. That seems like a perfect way to make all these wins go somewhere, like to put her, and maybe that's where we are going with Nikki ASH a little bit. We got that promo last week that was super fun, and Doudrop is accompanied by her tonight, so maybe we are headed to a tag situation, but I just feel like that would be a way to make the tag titles feel really important again. Is just giving her a partner, and it could be a situation that's really healthy for both the tag tournament picture and for her coming back. But I like to see her winning. I think it's good that we seem to be at least mostly moving on from the Lily stuff. I know she's still carrying her doll around, but I like more reality-based Alexa Bliss now, just because I feel like they ran into the ground what she was doing. I felt like she was knocking the Fiendus stuff out of the park, but this is better for right now, for sure. But this match was good. Dewdrop's great.
Yeah, I love Dewdrop. I think Alexa's been doing really good, too. Jake says, neither are the father. Dominic sucks too bad. God damn, man. We had Miz TV with the Street Profits, which turned into 24/7 shenanigans, Kate. Just absolute shenanigans.
This is one of the most confusing segments I've ever seen on television.
I mean, like Street Profits were poning Miz hard on IRL, and then we get the 24/7 stuff. Like T-Bar pops up. I don't even think he won the title, did he? I think he just chokeslammed somebody, which is a bummer. Like, damn, at least let him be able to display that replica title in his house or something when he does interviews. But no,
Tozawa.
we get Tamina winning, we get Tozawa winning, and I was just like, what the hell just happened here? This title should be one of the most fun things on the show. It's not. It's redundant and monotonous, and it's the same old shit, and it's where careers go to be stagnant. I'm not going to say where they go to die. It's where they go to be stagnant, and I hate that because I love so many of the people that are involved in this segment, but this title sucks, and I don't want it to go away. A lot of people say, retire it already. I want it booked better. I want it to be entertaining. I miss when the hardcore title was them fighting in the airport and like Chuck E. Cheese and in hotel rooms and backstage and all that stuff. And then when Undertaker got it, everybody said, nah, we're good. We're all set. We don't care about it that much. Like, there's not been a title reign like that where somebody wins it and everybody's like, is it worth it? I want that. I hate what it's become.
I think part of the problem with the 24/7 title too is I feel like it was meant to be relief in a lot of like more consistent and heavier programming, and now it feels like a lot of the main roster programming is inconsistent and very silly, so it doesn't feel like it's giving you that like breather or break in a 3-hour show, because it feels like the whole show is kind of like leaning in the creative direction of the 24/7 title. As far as the segment goes, I did not like it at all. It made no sense. The Street Profits owning the Miz with the Rock's It Doesn't Matter line was weird. Them owning him with his own line was fine. Them sitting and watching people run around was really lame. Do something different with it. I'm sick of it looking like a little kid's soccer game, like when in little kid soccer, someone kicks the ball and they all run to the ball. That is how the 24/7 title has looked for the past like 3 years. It's getting super old. And I wish they would build out an actual storyline with it that didn't involve them pretending that same-sex weddings are controversial. Like, let's do something.
Nakamura and Riddle against the Usos. Like, brand split doesn't mean a damn thing.
Sure doesn't.
Doesn't mean a damn thing. And this ends by DQ. Connor says they're really hyping up that the 10 o'clock hour last 2 weeks, the Cody countdown this week, the countdown to the Usos Riddle Nakamura match. Well, the match was fine, but it got met with the same inconsequential finish. And I hate championship contender matches. It's stupid. Have two of the top teams face each other to be top contenders. Like,
oh, you mean contenders should be contending for the belt?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
What a novel idea. Yeah, like anytime you get these 4 guys in the ring, the match is probably going to be pretty good. I actually felt like Nakamura looked off at a couple of spots. He just looked a little bit like his chemistry wasn't locked in tonight, but it's so hard to be emotionally invested in a match where you know what the outcome is going to be because it's telegraphed from a million miles away, and it doesn't mean anything. So it's just a little bit frustrating when you have world-class performers like them in the ring and it ultimately not matter what's going to happen in the end.
Inconsequential. And hey, yeah, they get a tag title match because of the DQ. And it's like, I know Jimmy didn't think that the ref was going to see it. Well, the ref did. The match was good. It got some time, but I'm like, why couldn't they have just beat another team? Why do we need to do that?
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
I feel like because there's no titles on Raw, they're trying to push like that the tag titles are important and put them on Raw.
Yeah.
With Roman, with merging the titles and then having the guy that holds both those titles go away, you've now made it seem like one program is not as important. However, that's been the significantly better show for a few months now.
Do you think that we'll assume this tag match is added to the pay-per-view?
Okay.
Usos got to win, right?
Yeah, Usos have to win. We'll see what happens with Randy. I'm sure Randy Orton will be there in some fashion.
Daniel Brown says Paul Heyman should be a new 24/7 champ and Bloodline hold all the gold. That would be funny. I think it'd be entertaining.
I think so.
What's that over there? Says, fun fact, Akira, Moxley, and Shingo were all a faction in Dragon Gate USA. And you know what? Akira Tozawa does as good as he possibly can do in this situation.
He's the only one with comedic timing in this picture.
Nerd Guru says, watch the KO and Becky Raw Talk segment. It's gold. Oh, I'm very excited to. Two of my favorite performers in the world, period. Please leave us a thumbs up. Get in your super chats. Get in your humper chats. Let's talk about my favorite thing on the show. An absolute hamper of a segment. Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. Now, that being said, I'll levy the criticism first. I think this was booked out of order. The whole angle. Cody Rhodes got cost the U.S. title by Seth Rollins. That should be the catalyst for him being upset enough to want to fight Rollins again. That is the title that his dad won, that his brother won. They have a history with it. We know how important that is to Cody Rhodes. We've always heard it. That could be the catalyst for him to be like, all right, you want it? We'll have one more match. This should have been the catalyst for them to say, okay, you guys want to do it like this? It's going to have to be inside Hell in a Cell. So that being said, that's how I feel about the order in which this was booked. But damn, Cody Rhodes came out and cut a promo, and it ain't often he gets shown up. And maybe that was by design, but Seth Rollins killed it tonight. For all those people that go, I bet you don't like it when WWE takes shots at AEW. Bump that. I love it. I want all of it. Seth Rollins says, you left because you weren't good enough 6 years ago. Then you and your buddies tried to tear down what I was helping keep where it was. You can't smash the throne, then come back and try to take it. Shit, I love this. I love it. It's giving Cody a dose of the Cody promo and the AEW style promo. I like it. Reference that stuff. Air those grievances. Play to those people that feel like that online. Those are living, functioning human beings that'll go, yes, we love it. Fed, not dead. Let's go. I want it. And then the pull apart brawl was great. Curtis Axel's out there ready to hit the perfect plex on everybody. Damn, this was good, Kate.
It kind of made me a little like, and I don't think he's doing a bad job with it, but I wish Seth Rollins wasn't in this very goofy heel stuff, because this stuff has so much more meat on the bone. And I feel like it's a little bit contradictory to the Joker style stuff that he's doing. But overall, I thought this segment was very, very strong. It was nice not to see them have a match with someone else in a DQ, like to just have promos here, hype this up going in, made me really like it. I think Seth Rollins doesn't get enough credit for how great he is at diversifying the in-ring storytelling that he does with triads of matches. Every match with Edge felt completely different from each other. All of his matches with Roman Reigns felt completely different from each other. I think that's a really underrated part of Seth Rollins' game. I think it's going to be a great match. My only thing is, it's just like, Cody came in with this promo of, I'm going after the title, and he's been in a very long feud with someone who's nowhere near that title. So that's my only complaint is like Cody gave this very big overture about going after the title and that his dad lost and that's why he's here. And then the first thing he does is go into a very, very long feud with someone who is not even close to it. So, but what was in front of me tonight was great. I think the match will be very good. I would love to see Seth Rollins steer back into being allied, like an alliance with Kevin Owens, or steer back into being a little bit more grounded of a heel. Because this made me miss that. Like I liked how the meat that was on the bone here.
This was so good. This is my favorite thing on WWE Raw. Connor says, is Cody Seth the no-brainer main event on Sunday? By far. By far. Who do you have winning that? I've got Cody. I think it needs to be a clean sweep. Cody wins. I think you can put him in Money in the Bank, but I don't think you have him win it. That's the first match to me that you don't have him win. I think Seth needs to you know what? I wouldn't mind if Seth lost, clean sweep, won a qualifier, then won Money in the Bank and tried to get to that title before Cody did. I think that's a really good shit heel thing to do. And it's like, ooh, the Weasel found a way to weasel into the title before the guy that beat him 3 times, but he did it he did it in a way that made sense. Who do you have winning this week?
I think it's going to be Cody. I don't think there's a lot to come out of a 2-1 story. And I think Cody does win Money in the Banking. The American Nightmare cashes it in on July 4th at SummerSlam. Like, I think that's where they're going with it. I agree with you. I think that being his first loss would be a good call. But I feel like Cody winning all 3 makes sense. And you definitely don't have him lose the 3rd one. That would be very weird.
Volub says, I know it's not a super chat, but is the WES show canceled now? It's postponed. I'll have more on that. I was going to put that information out there yesterday, but Queen Stooge #1, man, she scooped me. As she does, she's put it out there. Hey, what's that over there? Says this would make more sense if Seth was still the Seth that was Triple H's greatest creation. Well, I mean, them busting out the pedigree, like, man.
Kind of hinting at that, yeah.
I love it. Hey, what's that over there? Says, after Cody beat Seth, I'd love for him to be in a year-long program against Walter. I don't need a year-long program with anybody if WWE's booking it. They can't do that. Daniel says, I have a strange feeling they are over-pushing Cody, similar to when Roman was first babyface and started to get boos. I fear it could happen with Cody, too. I think it's possible, for sure. I mean, but I don't think they're in danger of that right now. I think a lot of people are just very happy to see Cody there. Daisy Ruth says, hey, friends, had some dough for Fightful's work this weekend. Sub to Fightful Select, and just a thought, my new wrestling fan boyfriend is Cody Rhodes obsessed. He enjoyed tonight's pull-apart Raw because it was different. I'm indifferent. I loved it. I thought it was passionate. I thought it had energy. I thought there was truth to it, or at least one person's truth and how they perceived it, which is where a lot of conflict lies. I really enjoyed it. Nerd Guru says, the women's title picture and Cody and Seth prove every week they'll overcome the shitty booking of having a show with no world champion. They put out quality stuff. I don't disagree with that at all.
It's weird that they merged the titles and put them on someone going away. That's a very weird thing to do.
I'll tell you what's not a weird thing to do.
What's
Kate.
that?
Taking care of your big nasty pubes with Manscaped.com. But how about this? We got that platinum package 4.0. Manscaped, the leader in below the... You got me messed up. Kate. The leader in below the waist grooming. Now, trust them with the rest. 4 million men worldwide trust Manscaped, and you can too by saving 20% off and getting free shipping with the code FIGHTFUL. That Platinum Package 4.0 is the biggest bundle they've ever offered. They've got a bunch of hygiene products as well. You'll get the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. It is the best trimmer out there. You're going to get the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. You're going to get the Ultra Premium Body Wash, the 2-in-1 shampoo plus conditioner, the Premium Deodorant, the Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant. Let me tell you, that's good for the summer. And the Crop Reviver Ball Spray Toner. You want that during the summer. Anti-chafing boxers. How about that? And then a Shed travel bag to put it all in when you're on the run. Use that advanced skin-safe technology to protect your delicate parts and holes, and save 20% off and get free shipping off all your orders with the code FIGHTFUL. Waterproof trimmers, you can reduce your foot odor, you can reduce ingrown hairs and grooming accidents. Manscaped.com. Use that code FIGHTFUL, my friends. Ryan Lambert says, Rex Beck on Sour Graps on who truly is Dom's father. Michael Keys says, liar, I've been in a year-long feud trying to watch Raw. That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's like 2 years now.
And Nerd Guru says, you don't get to take a sledgehammer to the throne, then come back and try to take that throne from me. That ruled. That was a spectacular line. And it's one that caters to the WWE fan base exceptionally well. Exceptionally well. Well, we got Bullet Club, Bulliv Club, Beliv Club, whatever. It's Rhea Ripley, it's Liv Morgan, and it's happening again. Call Me Crazy says it's the main event in my opinion. The match was a banger, and I don't care about a contract signing for a non-title match. I mean, I get it because they went through a table in the main segment, but this was a good match. I'm just like, there are ways to feud without having them do this over and over and over again. So at the pay-per-view, they're doing Balor, Styles, and Liv against Judgment Day. I think Judgment Day wins this because they are the faction. How do you see that before we get into the match?
Well, Kate Elizabeth, I do think that.
What, did I call you Denise? Oh,
no.
I'm over you. Yeah, my bad.
I think Judgment Day is winning. They're trying to build that. Bull Live Club isn't actually going to be a thing, I don't think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I was pointing this out in the chat too. I had it in my notes that how long was Liv Morgan in the ring waiting for the match to start? Almost 20 minutes. Yeah, like do things on your program instead. But yeah, I think Judgment Day goes over at the pay-per-view. Despite my wishes for things, they are building the heck out of this. So that was good. The match was good. I saw it.
Yeah. I love their chemistry together. Fantastic chemistry together. But again, it should be by this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're working together nonstop.
Had 172 matches. I would hope that at some point you
a big win for Liv. I like that she got out of the riptide and hit the backstabber. I'm happy with her winning. We get the brawl afterwards, and then they announce that the match is going to happen. Cool. This was a nothing happening Raw. An absolutely nothing happening Raw, and it main evented with Omos, MVP, and Lashley's contract signing. Oh, by the way, Call Me Crazy says, I think someone in Judgment Day should win Money in the Bank. I feel like another faction has to take down the Bloodline before anyone else. Judgment Day or the Club are about the only factions that can challenge them. If not, my Money in the Bank winner is Riddle. Possibly, if they want to get there. I mean, they're already connected to the Bloodline with Riddle, so I don't think that's too far of a leap. For me, yeah, it is, because Riddle keeps, like, he hasn't been winning matches of late, or at least pinning people. But for WWE, they're like, oh, well, he's in the same vicinity as Roman. Here's a title match. We'll make it work. I don't know about either one of these groups knocking off the Bloodline right now. Just not for me. But I do think Judgment Day will win. And Joel Wood says Cody and Seth program is perfect. Seth is one of the WWE lifers. He always defends WWE in interviews. Cody's the guy who left and tried to take them down. It makes sense. It's AEW versus WWE on WWE. I agree. And if you listen to Cody, it wouldn't be. But Seth's like, no, shut the hell up. You left. I stayed here. I stayed here through all that period. You left. You did something else. Just because you came back and now you romanticize it doesn't mean that you're still not one of them. Love it.
And I liked that Cody's promo started with, I've always liked Seth Rollins. Like, that was a perfect, because there's always, I've always liked that guy, except.
Yeah. As contract signings do, this one unfolded, and we ended with Lashley putting Omos through a table. I did not need this feud to be this long.
I don't think this
I
needs
think
to be a
Omos
5-match feud.
Yeah, Lashley won, then Omos won, and now I think Omos and MVP are going to win. It makes sense to have them win, but I really think the more that I heard somebody say this, I would have just sparingly used Omos. It's very clearly he's not going to be the guy. He's not going to be that guy. I would have used him sparingly until you got in John Cena for like a month. And then John Cena is the guy that slams him, hits him with the attitude adjustment, pins him, and then you do whatever. To me, using that on Bobby Lashley and then following it up with him getting beaten twice is like, I thought the money in Omos, because it was clear it wasn't going to be as a top guy, was knocked off his feet, body slammed, pinned. We've seen it all now. We've seen him slammed. We've seen him knocked off his feet. We've seen it all. I think that could have been cool for Cena because is it that so big of a moment that it would be wasted on him? No, it'd be very cool. That's what we know him for. It's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I feel like he should have moved on from Lashley and had him squash a bunch of people. Like, he has a manager now who can speak for him, right? Not the manager I would have chosen with who I had under contract until about a month ago. But you can have someone speak for him, have him squash a bunch of people until he grows in-ring skill-wise. Squashes are a really great device for making someone look great and hiding their in-ring inabilities. And just build them up that way until a Cena or something like that comes along. I think that's a better call. But I do think the handicap match, the numbers game will just be too much for Lashley. Yeah. And I think I saw your tweet that said anytime he does that fireman's carry into the post, anytime Lashley does it, me too.
Oh, it's so good. It always looks so good. It looks like it kills people. And I'm sorry. I'm sure it's not fun to take, but I love to watch it. I don't care. I love watching the Darby Allin suicide dives. I know those got to suck to take.
Yeah.
Chris S. says, Bull Live Club for 3 or 4 weeks. Well, guys.
For 3 or 4 weeks.
You got Omos and MVP winning this one?
Yes, I do. Do we have all the same predictions? Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's so boring.
Well, we'll be here this weekend for In Your House, Hell in a Cell. I'm sure you and Alex are doing a post show on Fightful Select. Make sure you guys subscribe to Fightful Select. Alex will be there right after this show. We got breaking news there every day. We've got over 7, 8 podcasts a week. We're always doing stuff over there. It's a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to have more interviews that drop this week as well. But let's get a couple more super chats in. Call Me Crazy says, last one for the night. Money in the Bank should have Riddle, Moss, Damian, Seth, Cody, Ali, Bobby Lashley. And my 3 picks would be Riddle, Moss, or Damian Priest. Women should be Liv, Alexa, Doudrop, Becky, Asuka, Shotzi, Rhea, with Liv winning. I think because Liv has been in so many title matches this year already, maybe not go to that. But what do you think of those picks, and who would you have win as things stand about a month away?
For the women, I'd probably give it to Rhea. Because I think her and Bianca should have like a very long feud. And if she doesn't dethrone her, I think it should be something that takes up a few months of programming in an important spot. For the men, I don't know what I would choose. It probably wouldn't be Cody, but I just feel very strongly they're going to give it to Cody. I think it would be really cool to call it Braun Breaker and have him win it. I don't think they'll do that, though. But if I had my druthers, it would be that probably.
Nerd Guru says, willing to bet Charlotte's big return is in the Money in the Bank ladder match and wins, because that's one thing they haven't given her. She'll cash in on Bianca, leading to Bianca's 3rd coronation over a horsewoman at Mania, but I'll pass. I do kind of like her as the horsewoman slayer. I really, really dig that. That's what I really love that. Kate, tell the people where they can find you.
Well, I'll be back on Twitter this week at Miss Kate Fabe, but right now you can find me on Instagram at Katestagrams, also at Miss Kate Fabe on TikTok, and you can find me behind the paywall with Alex various points of the week. Tuesday nights doing the NXT post show on the main channel. But yeah, keep an eye out for this weekend behind the paywall because we've got multiple pay-per-views to cover.
And apparently, I'll leave that one. I'm told of some media stuff happening to having Money in the Bank. That has me pretty excited. So very cool. Very cool. Guys, thank you so much legitimately for all the love you all have shown Fightful Select. I expected summer to be a down period. I promise you guys I'm going to work to give you all accurate news and all that good stuff. Unless you hear it from Fightful, don't believe that Fightful said it. That I encourage you. You can always reach out to me and say, hey, did you say this or did you mean this? That's one of the benefits of Fightful Select. You can always comment right below and say, hey, Sean, can you provide me a little bit of clarity on this? And I'll get back to you. Michael Keys says sour graps on Select right after this show. And hey, what's that over there? Says, I wish they would have never broke up the Hurt Business and instead had MVP add Omos, because the Hurt Business could have been a faction to upset the Bloodline. A reunited Hurt Business would have been fantastic as well. Like it's something for Lashley to maybe overcome, like Omos, Shelton, and Cedric, and maybe even they turn on Omos. There's a lot of possibilities to that.
Yeah, that deserved more love.
And Daniel says, just joined Fightful officially. You guys are awesome. Saw the option for the GOAT package was sold out. Would love to one day for a review show. You guys rock. Is it sold out? Because it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. We have absolutely had people that have tried to subscribe to that. But guys, thank you all so much. This weekend has been exhausting, and I loved it. It was so much fun. I appreciate you all.